Hi, welcome to Money Related. On this very first episode, we get to find out about the man who stole 3% of his country's GDP, which places his embezzlement case amongst one of the highest ever judged in the country's criminal court to date. How did one man single-handedly embezzle up to $10 million in a nation whose GDP in 2015 was only about $31 billion? How was he eventually caught? Watch this episode to the very end to know more. You're watching Money Related. Polycarp Aba is a political figure in the Central African nation called Cameroon. He is a very lettered man. He studied in his country of origin, then later went on to further his studies in France and the United States. He held several posts of responsibility before his arrests and incarceration. He had been the state representative at the board of directors for the National Hydrocarbons Corporation. He was also once the director of taxes at the Ministry of Finance. Then he was later appointed Minister of Economy and Finance. Prior to being appointed to all these positions, he had held other strategic positions at the presidency and at the Prime Minister's office. Under his watch as Director of Taxes at the Ministry of Finance, from 1998 to 2008, Cameroon's revenue from taxes tripled from about $416 million to about $1.25 billion. But behind all the narratives of his literacy, posts of responsibility held an outstanding performance, was a man who spared no opportunity to literally swindle every dime that crossed his way. To understand how he managed to siphon $10 million off the coffers of the Cameroonian government, first it is important to briefly explain how taxation in the Cameroonian context works. The Cameroonian tax system imposes a housing tax from its taxpayers. Usually this tax is withheld at source from the taxpayer's taxable income by employers or those specially specified to do so. This is now paid to the institution in charge of collecting this housing tax for the government, called Credit Foncier du Cameroun, CFC. As the Director of Taxes at the Ministry of Finance that Polycarp Aba was, he oversaw the collection and recovery of this tax. In a country where the control and audit of state affairs is very minimal, this very strategic position was seen as a golden opportunity by Mr. Aba to swindle state funds, as he diverted a good chunk of the taxes paid over to the CFC by taxpayers to his own personal accounts. Even though he repeatedly denied these allegations, he was trialed by the Cameroonian Criminal Court, which was created specifically to handle such cases of embezzlement of state resources. Following a clean-up operation codenamed Operation Sparrow Hawk, instituted by the president of the country, the former minister was apprehended, and on January 13, 2015, he was eventually found guilty of embezzling $10 million during his tenure as Director of Taxes at the Ministry of Finance between the years 1998 to 2008. As a result of this trial, his assets were seized, like his 30 residents spread across the country. Yes, you heard that right. 30 residents. His cars were seized as well. His bank accounts were also frozen as a result. And on top of that, he was slammed 25 years in prison. It should be noted that despite the existence of the Operation Sparrow Hawk and the numerous prison sentences that have already been served to a handful of Cameroonian top officials, bribery, corruption, and embezzlement of state funds is still far from being deterred and shunned out of Cameroon. The country still tops the list as one of the most corrupt in the world. This is Money Related. Thank you for watching the very first episode of the channel. If you enjoyed it, don't be stingy to like, share, and also subscribe to the channel to watch more interesting money and business stories. And until the next video, take care.